Hi there, Regina Sanchez, your spiritual life and health coach, believing in you. Today, I am just glad to welcome you to my video podcast on helping you build your immune system, which has been my focus of my teaching for the past few weeks, actually, a few months, that I really want to instill in people the ability to know and come to terms with and really get it in their gut, in their heart, in their understanding that their bodies, your body, has been created divinely by the God of the universe to heal itself, right? So, but in order to do that, in order for your body to heal itself, in order for the cells to act properly and your immune system to kick into gear and your organs to function in the way that they were designed and created to be, your body needs the right tools in order to accomplish this beautiful gift that we've been given. So today, my topic is going to be a little bit of a reminder on building your immune system. And I think, really hearing this over and over again would help all of us, right? To just remind us, because when we're not used to living or eating in a certain fashion, we can very quickly fall into the old routine of, eating things and foods that can harm our immune system. So I think, you know, just getting a reminder every now and then on what we really should be doing to have a strong, robust immune system to fight these viruses that are out there. They're always going to be there. They are never going to go away, especially if they're created. So we really need to just build our bodies to be strong and our immune systems to be able to kick into gear when those things are happening. So what what I want to do is just kind of do a little quick recap on those key points, and there's surface key points because I could dive in a little deeper on some of these topics, but I'm just going to give you surface. And I feel like if you can make these changes in your body, you are going to make significant impact on your immune system. And once you get used to these changes, then digging even or diving even deeper into understanding what you're putting in your body on your body um, will make even that much more significant changes, right? So grab yourself your favorite beverage. I have my second cup of English breakfast tea that I am solely enjoying here. It is a cold, dreary day here in New England, but we are getting close to spring. And like I say in my writing, I love spring. Spring is a time where I start to feel alive again, right? Because we've all been hibernating, at least here in New England or in the colder weathered months of the United States. We're sort of used to hibernating, unless you're that outdoor person that loves to go skiing or whatever. That's not me. So I do a lot more hibernating than I do in the summer and spring and fall, where I enjoy being more outside. So when spring starts to come, and I actually woke up this morning and I heard the birds like it was a spring morning, and it was like, wow. And so I actually had to open the door to see, is it spring? Is it a spring day today? And it is not. It's kind of cold here. But just to hear the birds starting to chirp was kind of refreshing and exciting. So grab it, pause this video, grab your favorite beverage, or not, and then just come back and join me. So how do we know that we have a weakened immune system? Well, there's an obvious way. You're continually being sick. You're catching colds and flus, infections. You have stomach issues, right? You're just feeling like you're sick a lot. Um, you know, Everybody sort of thinks that it's winter. We have to go through the cold season. No, we don't. I have not had a cold, thank God, since 2017, and I had gotten it. right before Christmas, and I was actually kind of sick on Christmas Eve. I ended up being in bed on Christmas Day because I just felt that lousy. Um, but I think by the next day I was better and up and about, but it put me down. But that's the last time I had a cold. So we don't, have to go through the cold and flu seasons. We do not have to accept that, but we need to do some things to prevent that from happening. So obvious, obviously being sick is a great indicator that you have a weakened immune system. Are you fighting allergies? Allergies are not something that we need to live with. Um, that could be because you've got a leaky gut. It could be because you have a weakened immune system, and things like that can be tended to. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. If you've got bowel issues, your immune system can be weakened. Asthma is another indicator, or ear infections, chronic ear infections. And, I've talked about this before when I talked about, ingredients that we find in our food. And I discovered from Dr. Feingold from the Feingold Institute out of New York that he studied children and found that children with chronic ear infections, had allergic reactions to the ingredients in foods, like food coloring and preservatives and additives and things of that nature. So, if you are having chronic ear infections, you can have a weakened immune system, or, you can have these allergic reactions to the chemicals in foods. Celiac disease is another one, or autoimmune diseases. If you have an autoimmune disease, one of the things you might want to look at is healing your gut and strengthening your immune system. Weight gain, that that just the weight keeps coming no matter how well you eat or what diet you're on. Are you experiencing fatigue or low energy or constipation? It could be a weakened immune system, or it could be your hormones are out of balance, or you're not drinking enough water or eating enough fiber. But you could say, "Oh, I drink a lot of water every day and I eat a lot of fiber, and I'm still dealing with constipation." Well, your hormone could be out of whack, or your immune system can be weakened, or are you irritable and restless? So those could just be some of the signs and symptoms to, having a weakened immune system. So what do you want to do about it? What are some foods you want to avoid? First and foremost, you want to avoid sugary foods. And that's just not, sugar per se in your coffee or tea or something of that nature, but wherever you're going to find sugar. So you're going to have to become a label reader. So are the breads you're eating, are they full of sugar? Is the pasta you're eating full of wheat? But once that wheat, or those carbs get into your body, it transforms into sugar. But the obvious things like cake and cookies and donuts and soda, things of that nature high in sugar. You want to eliminate sugar from your diet. And it could be a hard thing to do. It could take some time. You know, Sometimes it could take a couple of weeks before you stop that craving. But it is so well worth doing it. And then, after 30 days, you're probably pretty in a strong place of not eating the sugar, and not craving it to the degree that you're used to. Okay, what is another food that you want, or a food type that you want to stay away from? I would say hydrogenated oils, things like vegetable oils or canola oils, soybean, corn. You want to check your microwavable food. I personally would say don't eat your microwavable food. Don't use your microwave. That's my recommendation, but I'm not going to necessarily go and dive deep into that issue. But you want to check those things if that's something you eat. And you want to check the type of oils that you find in there. Your chips, you want to check that oil. You think, well, it's just potatoes or corn. How bad could it be? Check the oil. And a lot of it is with, in this day and age, a lot of them use canola oil. You want to just stay away from these hydrogenated oils. French fries, check your oils in that. Or fried foods, check those oils. The other thing, the other food type is you want to stay away from are fried foods, especially that you find in a restaurant when you go out to eat in a restaurant, because, the fried foods and the oils that they use will just cause an inflammation in your body. So you could guarantee that the oils that a restaurant uses to fry their food is not healthy oils. They're not going to use an avocado oil or a coconut oil because they're too expensive to cook in. So they're going to use the cheaper oils, and one of the cheapest oils is canola. And I, for a number of years, I was like crying out to Whole Foods because you'd go to their food bar. Fortunately, they list the ingredients and what's in the food bar, of what they've made, and it's always canola oil. And I cannot tell you how many times I've said something to them. Why are you using canola oil? And their answer was because it's cheap. But they have sense. It seems that a lot of their foods in their food bar, they have removed the canola oil. But they do go to some oils that aren't necessarily the best. Better probably than a canola oil. And I get it, to use a high quality oil in restaurant type cooking, it would be very expensive. So I understand, but you want to stay away from it. If you want to focus on building up your immune system. The other food type or food group you want to stay away from are your artificial sweeteners. Sweet and Low, Splenda, Equal, Truvia. Not only because you're trying to build up your immune system, but there are other side effects of using those sweeteners. All right, so what are some of the foods you want to consider adding in? You want to think about protein. Good grass-fed protein, though. You want to make sure it's grass-fed. Grass-fed means the cattle has not been given any grain. There's some that are, the cattle is given grain and then some grass, and then they finish it off with grain because they're trying to get that last oomph of weight on the cattle. So you want 100% grass-fed. You want free-range eggs and chicken and wild-caught fish. And I'm almost at a point myself of not eating fish anymore. Number one, it is so hard. Well, it's not necessarily hard to find wild-caught fish. It is so expensive. And I would love to have a piece of salmon. And I will not eat farm-raised fish. I don't care if it comes from Whole Foods and they tell me that their farm-raised fish is treated well with good stuff. No, you're not going to convince me. Wild caught, I only want wild caught. But then even in those circumstances, we have to be careful with wild caught fish because what ocean is it in? And our waters are so polluted, which it's just so discouraging. So you want to be careful with your wild caught fish. And I was at Whole Foods the other day, and I would love the piece of salmon, wild caught salmon. I think it was Soho salmon. It was $32 a pound. I'm like, no way. I'm just not spending that. It's just ridiculous. So I'm at a point almost of not eating fish anymore, which makes me sad. I love fish. Another thing we want to add in are good fats, things like coconut oil, right? Pure olive oil. You've got to read your olive oil, jars, because now they, it could say olive oil on it, but they, put sunflower oil and canola oil in it, and then some olive oil. So you want to make sure it's got the little olive emblem that means 100% pure olive oil. And also cacao chocolate. If it's 70% cocoa, then you've gotten some good fats in there. So chocolate isn't a horrible thing as long as it's dark chocolate. Bone broth is a great way to build up your immune system, but make sure it's organic. Okay, and you can make your own bone broth. It's really not that hard. And I'll either make a bone broth or my own chicken broth, And I'll take a chicken and roast a chicken, and then I take all the bones and I put it in my slow cooker with onions and garlic and celery and carrots and some spices. And I've actually got it going right now. I had a whole chicken the other night and took the bones, and it's cooking right now. And I slow cook it for 24 hours, and I have my own bone broth or my own chicken broth. Now, if I wanted to make it into a bone broth and get more collagen, I would put like some apple cider vinegar in there to get the collagen out of the bones. But it's not that hard to make your own broth. Um, so, but getting some good bone broth is great. Building your immune system. Taking a probiotic supplement can be another way too, because you want to make sure your gut is balanced and healed. And if your gut is out of balance, right? And I know one of the things for me, I know when my gut gets out of balance, and it's usually from stress, because I'm not managing my stress well, and my gut starts getting out of balance, I'll notice it with some, like I have breakouts on my face or itchy rashes or something, on my body. And then can almost be sure that my gut's out of balance. So I'll take my Dr. Meyer's um, Gut Revive supplement, and it'll heal up my gut, and the little rashes go away. But so that's something to think about. Make sure your gut's um, working properly. Another thing to take is vitamin D for your immune system, because we do not, even if you live in Florida in this day and age, or in sunny climates, are we all getting enough sun? So, you know, you question the people living in Florida, and they themselves, everybody should test their vitamin D levels at least once a year. Twice is probably best. Just make sure what your levels are at. But us people up here north that have hardly get to see the sun anymore, and then even when the sun is out, we're not out necessarily in it. Um, we could use, having some extra vitamin D if our levels are down. And the last thing to consider is exercise. Move your body. And you can do that by walking, running, or doing some resistance training. But moving your body to build up your immune system is great. It's great for a number of things. It helps you get better sleep. And this is where I'm very weak in. Full disclosure, I'm just not an exercise person, and I am really working hard to try to get myself, to that place of wanting to exercise. But those are just some ways, and some food groups, some supplements to bring in to help build up your immune system. And I heard this statement not too long ago, and I just thought it was so profound. And it says, the only place you have to live is in your body. So take care of it. Take care of your body. Make sure that it's serving the purpose for you to help you live a full life and enjoy it. I think one of the things that really saddens me is we have grown as a society to think, that as we age, that we're going to be sick and that we should expect it. I refuse to go there. I refuse to accept that as I reach, the golden years of my life, that I have to look forward to being sick. I was telling some friends the other day that I have been like thinking, I can't wait to get some extra money in my budget so I can hire somebody to mow my lawn. And it just dawned on me the other day, and I went, no, I'm not hiring somebody to mow my own lawn. I'm going to mow my lawn. I don't have a big yard. It doesn't take me that long. I could probably mow the lawn in 40 to 45 minutes. I have a very nice push mower that works beautifully. I maintain it. I take care of it. It's very reliable. It does a great job. And mowing my lawn gives me exercise. It keeps me moving. So I garden. I do things like that. I don't want to get to the point where I can't enjoy life where I can't move around. Like my mom in her later years, her muscles so atrophied that if she fell, she could not get herself up because her muscles were so weakened. Now, as I said, exercising is not a strong part of my life, and I recognize it. And I'll go through periods of going for a walk and walking and doing that, um, but I am becoming more and more cognizant of making sure that I'm doing things to keep myself moving. When I was organizing, prior to transitioning to life and health coaching, I was moving. I'm telling you, I had 8-hour days that I was on my feet all day, organizing and moving and designing and moving boxes and, whatever I needed to do in someone's house, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. I can't even tell you, depending on where I was working. So I was constantly moving. I never came home exhausted. The only time that I felt exhausted or more tired than not was if I was doing a senior move and I was, helping somebody transition into independent living. And so my goal always with the senior person that I was working with was to get them set up in their new apartment in one day. So, sometimes I had 9-10 hour days, nonstop working, unpacking boxes and setting it up because I wanted them to be safe in their new apartment. So, their bedroom, bathroom was done first, and then I'd move into the kitchen so that they can have this set up and they could be comfortable. And sometimes, depending on the size of their apartment that they were moving into, I could do it in one day. But those were the days that I did come home and I was tired, more so than not. But when I was working a typical, 8-hour day, organizing, I wasn't. My body was used to the moving. So when COVID hit and that whole thing shut down on me, and I then transitioned to my life and health coaching, and I'm sitting at my desk more, my body is feeling it. So I need to be more conscious of getting out there and moving and being more, being active. So for me to go outside and be mowing my lawn, once a week for spring, summer, and fall, I ain't giving it up. I'm gonna tend to it, and then of course I'm taking care of my garden. So getting out and getting movement, getting your body moving is so important. Keep your body moving. Don't let it get atrophied as you get older, and don't believe that because you're getting older that you're gonna need to worry about health issues. I mean, I know people transition out of a home because they got to go up and down the stairs. They want to live on one level, one floor living. Well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but don't do it because you're preparing yourself for down the road because you think something's going to be wrong with you. If you need to do it, obviously do it. But if you're living in a 2-floor house and things are fine, don't feel like you need to now move into 1-floor living for your future, is all I'm saying. Don't project in your future sickness. Take care of your body, build up your immune system, and know that so many diseases are reversible. Okay? You're going to have to make some lifestyle changes. You're going to have to be serious about those lifestyle changes. But you can reverse autoimmune disease. You can reverse heart disease. You can reverse type 2 diabetes. Don't live with it. Do your research. Don't believe me. Go out and do your research. That's one thing I try to teach people is I'm trying to give you, my heart is to give you information and to educate you on issues that I've been educated on. But don't necessarily believe what I'm saying. Take what I'm saying and do some more research to find out, is it sitting well with you? Does it make sense to you? And then move forward and make some changes. So, my friends, I hope this reminder is helpful to you. Make those changes. And even if, those food group things that I said, remove, even if you start with one at a time and you make those changes and it takes you a couple of weeks and you say, okay, I'm going to start with, I'm removing all hydrogenated oils from my diet. And I'm going to focus on doing that for the next couple of weeks. Do it. Take it little at a time. You don't need to make a full drastic change in your body unless you're dealing with some heavy duty health issues and you want to start seeing some changes. But take it as slowly as you can. But take it and do it and make those changes. And know that I'm here for you. And I can support and encourage you along the way and help you get to the goals that you want to get to. And we can transform your pantry, your refrigerator, and your life. So thanks for taking this time to listen to me. I so appreciate that you do. Remember, I'm here to help. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. It's early for me here, so I'm not sure when you listen, but I hope your day goes beautiful. Thanks. God bless.